everyone, Bill here with some more TV Photog tips. Today I have some tips for you for lighting with two lights. Now if you saw part one of my video on this, where I use a single light for my setup, we're going to use a lot of the same skill set for that. So make sure you check out that link above before you watch this one. When it comes to lighting, it's always fascinating to me that when we're younger and we're first starting out, we think lighting is, let's throw as much light onto the subject or the person that we're interviewing as possible, and that's lighting. And no, it really isn't. Lighting is putting up lights at the right angle, using shadows, things like that. We're not trying to throw on as much light as we possibly can, as bright as we possibly can. So we're going to go a little bit more into that in this lesson. Okay, again, this is my setup, similar to what we had already gone over in the first lesson, where I have a reporter sandwich setup. If you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely go back and watch the first video, but basically I have the camera, and then right here, this dummy head is my reporter or producer, and then I have a light. And so reporter sandwiches, I have my producer reporter in between the light and the tripod or the camera, and with that, I get the right light on the face of my subject where I get a little bit of shadow on the side of their face. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to do that false three-point lighting technique that I talked about in the first video, where I'm going to use my key light here. I'm going to open the barn doors. I'm going to point my light, instead of going directly here to my subject, I'm going to point it toward the background. I'm going to use the softer edge of the light onto my subject. A lot of times I keep the barn doors more closed, so I don't have spill of the background if I have a proper backlight. So again, I'm going to open up my barn doors, and I'm going to twist that. And so now I'm lighting the background more, and I got that softer kind of edge of the light on my subject there. You might have even seen my iris change as I did that. Kind of back up to speed for the other techniques that we used in the other video that we're going to apply to this one. The other one is with the dark jacket here, I'm going to put them against a lighter background, and vice versa. If they're wearing a lighter background, I'll try to put it against a darker background if possible. Can't always do that, but when it's possible, it helps bring out a difference for the shot. I got my setup done for the one light setup. Now I'm going to put up the second light. You can put up the lights in any order. I'm just putting in this order for the video. So if you want to put up this backlight first, whatever, it's all for you. But for the second light, I can use it for 3 or 4 different things depending on my situation. Maybe I want to use it as a fill light. Fill light would be on the opposite side of the lens from the key light, and then I put it on the opposite side, and you want to put it at about 50% of the power of the other one, so half it. So if you're shooting with the one light at 100%, put the fill light on 50%, because you still kind of want that shadow, but maybe you don't want as harsh of a shadow on this side of the face. I kind of like the look for that, so I don't even worry about that in this situation. The other option I can do, I can use it as a background light, and so I wanted to use that wood pile and the background, so I can put the second light back there to help bring that out more. But again, I'm kind of trying to use that other light to light my background at this point. My go-to when I have a second light is I want to use it as the backlight. Some people also call this a hair light. This light is going to go on the back of the head of your subject, kind of on the hair, upper shoulders, and that's going to help separate them from the background. And here's how that works. This is how my setup is looking with my backlight. Again, reporter sandwich over on this side, and my backlight I'm going to put back here in the back behind the subject, and theoretically I want to try to get this about as 180 as I can from the key light. So if I go back over here, you can kind of see how it's almost a straight line from my backlight to my subject to my key light. That's a 180 degree. And then with my light, this will be approximately about the same brightness as the front. So if I'm at 100% here, I'll go at 100% here. And then when I'm trying to set this up, I am actually trying to aim, typically for me, I like to aim for the farther shoulder, because I need the light to be stronger over here. So I'll point over here, and then I'll let the softer edge kind of hit that side. So when I'm back in light here, and what'll happen is on the screen, I'll get this kind of this glowy edge here to help separate the shoulders and the head from my camera, to separate my subject from the background. I'm going to go off of my main camera here so you can see the difference. Right now I do not have the backlight turned on, This is just, it is with the one key light turned on. Gonna turn on my backlight, and hopefully you instantly see a difference there. You kind of get this glow around the shoulders here and around the head. Also, I can use that backlight to kind of do it as a little bit of a fill here on the one side. That's part of the reason why it's good to go 180. So you can kind of get that and get rid of some of that harsh shadow if it is, in fact, too harsh for what you like. So I can totally understand if you don't quite see the difference yet. So kind of to bring it home a little bit more, what I'm going to do is I've been working in my garage with my overhead lights turned on just so you can kind of see how everything's working here. I'm going to turn off those lights. In addition to that, I'm going to put up a black backdrop against my subject here who's wearing a black coat. So hopefully you can see the difference, and by doing this lighting I can help bring out the black coat against a black background so you can see your subject better. Here's my setup now. As I said, I turned off my overhead lights and I put the backdrop, and if you look into my main camera you can see it kind of just looks like a floating head. You don't really see the coat very well. Everything just kind of blends in. There's no depth here or anything. So let me turn on my backlight or my hair light and we're gonna see how that works. And there you go. Hopefully you can see there a little bit better. Now I have that edge around the shoulders and around the side of the head, and that helps bring him out from the background. Helps bring out my subject from that darker background so they're not like just blending in into the abyss. This also helps with depth of field in a sense when you shoot, because it might not increase your depth of field, but it gives a different sense of depth of field because it separates your subject from the background. And there you go. There's some tips that I have for setting up lights when you only have 2 lights available for your kit. When I worked in news, this was like my minimum basic setup when I worked for like live shots at night or inside. So I hope you find these videos useful and educational. Please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe so you know out there. Questions, concerns, comments, you can leave them down below. Also, I'm open to you know, if you have a tip you want me to share or work on, or a challenge like, hey Bill, how would you handle this situation, or what's your setup for this, I'd be glad to do a video about that. So please leave me those suggestions. But you've been watching TVPhotogTips. I'm Bill. I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Till next time, good luck and have fun. Today we're talking about 2 light camera. Today I have some tips on, next step is I'm gonna do the I do enjoy those challenges of 2, is I like to use it as a backlight or a shoot.